Well, with your technical difficulties, I did get to watch the first bits of the presidential debate. A lot more tamer than they were 4 years ago. But those two heavy hitters, the 82 and the 78-year-old, just still jabbing. Things are in shambles. Everyone hates us. Everyone hates you.
I mean,
everyone loves me.
The first thing you said is accurate. Everybody hates us, and things are in shambles. That I'll agree with. And if that's a truthful, honest statement. I don't know, man. I'm recording it. I will watch it in its entirety, uninterrupted, as soon as we finish this monstrosity. But I will say, just got back from the Hershey Park.
Dude, I was there last year, so and I loved it.
Okay, let me ask you. I mean, are you a big roller coaster guy?
So, yes and no. It usually takes a little prep work. I got to warm myself up. I got to get myself on something. I can't come out the gate storming with something that does loops, or especially that fucker at Hershey Park that's like straight vertical for the
Fahrenheit.
Yeah. But once I get one under my belt, then it's the training wheels are off. I don't know why. I just got to start a little. I got to get a teaser. I got to get a something that's not going to make me poop my pants. That's later on in the day.
That's later on in the day after I've been to little Hershey Kiss World there. You get a few of them big brewskis in you. No, dude, I don't know if it's like, I don't know. Does your circulatory system like atrophy after a certain age? Because like I feel like I just took a ride with the Blue Angels and I didn't go any higher than like the Lightning Racer. I mean, I did the Super Duper Looper. First loop, as soon as I got off, thankfully we take all sorts of supplies with us. As soon as I got off Super Duper Looper, boom, 2 Excedrin. Just as like, I'm gonna need this. I can feel it. But I used to ride everything. I just don't know that my body is capable. I mean, again, it's not like I ride roller coasters like I used to when I was younger. But when I was younger, I could go on anything. It did not matter. And I'm currently suffering. And I feel like I'm both seasick and got hit in the head with a club.
Yeah, beats me, man. I don't know I'm sure there's been studies done on it. Christ, there's someone who figured out the loudest penis in the wild, and was it the greater boatman insect? So I'm sure that
I think it was a lesser boatman.
The lesser, that's right. Yeah. The greater's loud, but the lesser. That fucker really packs a punch. Yeah, I went on a roller coaster about 4 years ago with my then 71-year-old mom, and I'm talking about some fucker that shot you out of a cannon type thing, and she's like, I had a great time, and I was like, the ride, the help when they lift your bar up, like had to lift my hands off the bar because my fingernails had dug into the goddamn pad. So I don't know, but could be a lot of things, man. A lot of stuff changes biologically. I don't know. I doubt that you're suffering from any type of vertigo or something like that, but you don't know. I doubt it, but you might have vertigo.
No, it's not. I'm just a bitch. I think in my younger years, I was able to fight it off because I didn't want to be called a pussy by gentlemen like yourself. And now that I'm just the sole man in charge of like a 9-year-old, like I'm coaching him onto things. And I'm like, dude, part of me is like, don't convince him to do this because you're going to suffer for it. I know the last time we went last year, I went by myself. I want to say it was like the Jolly Rancher fucking Cool Rush Doritos Ranch ride or whatever.
Hold on. Is that the one? It's not a classic garden variety roller coaster. That's the one where your legs dangle and then it kind of like... Yeah, I started out on that like 4 or 5 years ago, or more than that, actually 7 or 8 years ago. That's a tough one to start on. That's a tough one to get your wheels wet and your bearings greased because I was like, oh my God, what did I do here?
Yeah, well, that's how I felt when I got on it last year, and I just remember I was giving myself the same advice I was giving my then 8-year-old son, just like, hey, listen, guess what? Point of no return. You can't go back. You already hear the clank, 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 clank. You're Dunsky. You just if it's too much, you're just gonna have to close your eyes until it drops, and then either open them or fucking don't. But you're gonna have to ride this fucker out. Like, you're done. You can't scream stop the ride at this point.
No,
And it
no, you
was
don't.
one of the worst roller coaster experiences. Not the roller coaster's fault, I don't think. So plenty of people seem to enjoy it. But yeah, after that I was like, dude, maybe the big boy rides just ain't for you anymore, man. And it's, I don't know, I feel like a piece of my soul left my body when I kind of came to that realization, because that was like I was a big thing I was proud of. Like, I'll go on any roller coaster in any park anywhere in the world, and I just, nope.
Yeah, I do wonder if the luster, just for you specifically, if the luster wore off a tick. You know what I mean? You did this to get a rise, a joy, that frontal lobe fired up, some adrenaline pumping, and for one reason or another, it's changed a little bit. It doesn't do what it did when you were younger, when you were a teenager. I don't know. Perhaps you've drank too many beers and you fucked your system up. Again, perhaps you have. Perhaps you have vertigo. Don't rule that out.
You keep going back to vertigo. Or perhaps I just can't experience joy anymore. Maybe that's where
right.
we are in life.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You need to, I don't know. Maybe if someone died today, you would have gotten a kick out of that. Someone projected 30 feet in the air, thrown across your face.
Here's how morbid I am. I don't know if this is morbid or not, but I saw one of the roller coasters was down. And then once they got off, Maria and William were on the bumper cars. And once they were done, they fired that roller coaster back up. And I was like, hey, no line. Let's go right now. And my thought process was like, wasn't that something bad was going to happen. It was like, they've just tested it. This is going to be the smoothest this ride is ever going to be. Freshly maintenanced and ready to roll. Let's do it. Oh, by the way, I'm glad, we don't have to comment on this. This new generation, I know we harp on them quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they absolutely suck for customer service. They don't know how to talk to people. One of them was sleeping elbow on top of a trash can, just eyes closed, waiting for rides to start and finished. And then, yep, come on through. And then walking around and having conversations with people while checking the seatbelts. I'm sitting there fucking counting on my watch. Like, we could have had 3 rides in by the time you started this one up, you fucking Gen Z fucking twat. This 17-year-old. Like, one kid was like, hey, how fast does this one go? And he stopped. And he's like, I don't know, like faster than a car, I guess. Or like, man, maybe about as fast as like a really fast go-kart, but there's all sorts. And I'm just like, why are you, just say fast, dude. You're buckled in. Tough luck. If the world sucks from here on out, move on. Don't check my seatbelt. I did it. I'm a grown man. Don't even touch mine. Just walk on by. If I fly out, it's my fault. Can we get back to a little bit of deregulation? They were really, really too fucking, what do you call it? Meticulous on safety checks today. And I'm just like, did anything happen that I'm not aware of? Why are we doing this? On, off, go. Hit the green button. Let's move it.
Yeah, let's dial back the safety inspections of a theme park where thousands of lives could be in danger. I like it, man. America.
I agree.
4th of July is we're on the heels of the 4th of July, shooting fireworks out from the top of a roller coaster at Hershey, Pennsylvania. By the way, last time I was there, which was last year, I thought this was pretty neat. There was a group of young Amish men. I couldn't really get a gauge on age. It's kind of tough. I'm going to say like late teens and early 20s. And for no particular reason, I just found it cool that these guys were this was their day. We go and fucking get on some, I get a day off from manicuring the fields, from harvesting crops, from supplying, whatever it is our community needs, and giving us a day to get here and get shot out of a cannon from a 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, which is a badass ride, by the way.
Could you imagine coming, like parking your horse and a buggy in the lot, and then you're getting fired out of a cannon?
Yeah.
I don't remember what that one's called, like the freeway raceway or whatever, like it's like 0 to 70 and the snap of a finger.
Before you know it. And then you're going straight vertical, 90 degrees.
Yeah, but I mean, like, at least I was like driving in an electric car that goes 0 to 60 in like 4 seconds. Like these guys, like, have they experienced anything like that? I'm sure that their non John Deere tractor certainly ain't fucking breaking any speed records plowing a field.
Just writing shitty Dear John letters. Middle class O's, everyone. Murr and Fox, man. No Alan. Alan went to the O's game tonight. Said he might make a late arrival. I'm holding out hope. We might get that third window popping up here any second now. But, whatever. I hope he enjoyed the game. I knew Burns fucking pitched a good one. He watched a lot of home runs. I think it was 4 in total. So, anywho, Murr and Fox, man, that's all you get tonight. Next week, we're off. 4th of July. We're giving you folks a Middle Class Holes week free as you celebrate your independence. After about 4 or 5 beers, I'm going to have some sound advice for you as to what you should or shouldn't do with fireworks and alcohol consumption and how great decisions are made. Independences are won via that combo right there.
I feel like it's such a catch-22 because, like, sober, I really don't feel like fucking with fire and explosions. But 5 or 6 beers deep is when I really feel like sparking up a lighter and tapping it over to a fuse for something to go boom. So it's like you can't have one without the other, but you probably shouldn't do one while having the other. Yeah. That's America, man. It's exactly what I'm saying about Hershey Park. Ride at your own risk, folks. Ride at your own risks. You're free to blow your fingers off. You're free to fly out of the seat at 65 miles an hour on an old rickety wooden structure. That's America, man. You're free to die, okay?
Yeah.
By an adventure of your own choosing.
I always found those pop-up carnivals to be much less safe. Like if you wanted to die, go to one of those. Something's going to fail. Some bearing's going to break. Some joint is going to come loose. Or worse, you're just going to be stuck upside down, for 4 minutes with limited seatbelt, holding, barfing the cotton candy and the cheese dog that you ate.
I saw one of those actually did stall completely upside down. I'm not sure exactly where it was. It was like a Busch Gardens or something like that. And they were upside down for like half an hour. Like, isn't there like a thing, like you can't, like the human body can't be upside down for a certain amount of time?
All the blood rushes to your head.
Yeah. Like, what do you do?
And then your head explodes like a cherry that's been stepped on. That has vertigo. Pretty sure that's the diagnosis. You got cherry head. Look at him. He's got cherry head. It's going to pop any second now.
But seriously, isn't that a thing? Like, I don't know. You'd think that they would at least have like some sort of you don't need to check obviously the seatbelts worked just fine. I'm sure they didn't go around having conversations with each patron about the ride before taking off. And that's not even what was the problem. The problem was the actual ride itself. But you do bring up a good point about like local carnival rides. Like, look, I trust that Hershey Park is a step above the Cecil County Fair at all times. Like, brand new, like we just bought this one, bringing it fresh off the truck. Like, that thing's been riding down an open highway. All the wind resistance just blowing across the joints, blowing across all the welds, flexing things left and right. I'm sure hitting a tree branch or two along the way.
Yeah.
Hershey Park is fine. I don't need them to check everything all the time.
Well, I mean, tomato. Tomato. I think if you're looking for, undoubtedly theme parks have to be safe or they would cease to be theme parks. We can agree on that, right?
I mean, the theme of the park would change dramatically.
Sure. But you that is regulated. I'm sure that the pop-up carnivals are regulated to some extent, but I know the one that stopped down by my parents' house, the firehouse, my parents' home, the firehouse that was next to it, like a half mile down the road. I mean, I saw some of those old geezers like setting up those. Remember those ones where you could adjust? It was almost zero weight, and if it spun you around, you could lock it to be stuck upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the guys running those, I don't think should have been operating anything. A Phillips head screwdriver, ball bearing joint, hammer, and people's lives were at stake. And actually, I had a good story about that. It was one of Dewey's friends. Let's see here, Ron Rhine. was with him. His mom gave him a bunch of quarters because a lot of those games back then were like 50 cents, a dollar. Like bash the frog into the lily pad, the water gun race, you name it. Throw a dart at balloons, throw a baseball at empty milk jugs. This is the first ride we did, and he stuck it upside down, and all you heard was like $20 in change. He's like, "Fuck, shit!" Falling out through the little cracks too. Yeah. Like he recouped some, but definitely not all of it.
And some of the stuff you just brought up too, like the dart thing, like where you throw the darts at the balloons and all that. They gave children. You don't have to throw them at the balloons. You can easily turn around and just whip one straight up. And by the way, Brine there is exactly the dude that would fucking turn around and just throw one into the crowd.
or at someone's foot or their ankle, shin.
Anywhere. Just patron roulette.
Yeah. And they also had, one year they had a freak show. Oh, man.
You fucking weirdos.
You couldn't have come on at a better time. I said one year my county fair had a freak show. And you pop on.
Well, I'm a good freak show. I'm a big fan. Oh my god.
Damn, dude.
I'm walking so I'm home now, but I have to walk the dog. Because that's a thing I have to do. And my computer is not set up at all. I was wishful thinking. But the Orioles won. They beat the brakes off the fucking Texas Rangers. So, yeah, that's a good thing. I'm a fan.
Now, Alan, when you get back into the confines of your new condominium that you and Kelly have called your humble abode, are you going to throw on the presidential debate? Are you going to check that out for a minute?
Yeah. So, what's funny is we were coming out here to walk the dog, and my buddy texted me, one of my good friends growing up, one of my groomsmen. He goes, "We're fucking doomed. This is what we got. This is what we got." And I was like, "Yeah, this is what we got, man. We're fucking, this is over. It's over." Yes. So I'm going to turn it on to answer your question. And I'm pretty sure the apocalypse is impending. So
yeah,
let's figure it out.
I feel like because I told Wes I'm gonna watch it all and I'm recording it, and I'm really not even gonna worry about who I think is quote unquote winning. It's gonna be one of those like who's losing the least, and I think America's losing the most.
Yeah, America's losing all of it. Yeah, I think you're right, man. Mur, we agree. We don't. This is Alan on the street in Federal Hill. Yep, we agree, and nobody wins.
Well, since I can tell you're not going to be with us for too terribly long here, Alan. Now I sent you a video. You were like chomping at the bit to see this. Did you see the Ukrainian bomb drone video I sent you?
Yes, I did. I was excited that you sent it to me. I think my emoji reactions to you sending it to me spoke volumes, I hope. But I was floored. I was totally amazed. It's video game shit. I did that in Call of Duty. I do it in Call of Duty. I'm about to do it in Call of Duty tonight, probably. Like, that's insanity. Fuck you, Scooter. Sorry. There's a Scooter, and he was leaving. He was ruining my audio.
Did he have a jetpack engine attached to it or something?
It's one of those Triceratops motherfuckers, the tricycles, the electric tricycles. You know what I'm talking about? But no, Mur, to answer your question, you're absolutely fucking right. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely preposterous. I love it.
Yeah. When you two are agreeing on something like this, you know it's doomed. You know it's fucking
It's the end of days.
It means Alan. There was a long 7th inning stretch, and Alan had one too many beers.
Oh boy, those 24-ounce Coronas were going down pretty fucking good.
Alan put a little bit of extra mustard in "God Bless America" when he was singing along with the
That's
singer.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. You know, fucking golden fields of wheat or whatever. Whatever they say.
That's where cornflakes is made.
I totally paraphrased Amber Waves of Grain. I had to think about it for a second. I don't know if you saw it on my face. I had to think about it for a second. Golden Fields of Wheat. Yep, got it. That's it. That's it. That feels like a good song.
That's the cornflakes version. It's different.
Yeah. That's it's not the there's no Chody the Tiger on that. It's like a Puma, and it comes in a bag. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Now, Alan, did you check the scores or any of the highlights? Because I won't want to ruin it for you. I know you probably recorded it, but I don't know if you were on radio silence for it. The USA Panama game.
So I did not check it. I'll allow you to tell me it because I'm not going to rewatch it. Fuck Panama.
Oh man! Well, USA lost. Tim Weah made a very, very foolish mistake at about the 18th minute and got a red card.
Oh.
So we played 10 men most of the game. Was it Florian?
Balogun.
Yeah. Scored like 3 minutes later. A fucking amazing left. Panama ties it up and Panama ties it up a few minutes later. Then they score to go up 2-1 with 80 minutes. So USA's got to double down. They take out a defender, put in Sargent. And then a Panama guy gets a red card. And he absolutely, Pulisic was about to start a fast break, and he just straight up fucking karate kicked Daniel LaRusso's him in the knee, knocks him down, gets the red card. But I thought Pulisic was going to get the red card because he got up and in a full sprint put his shoulder in this guy's chest. Like, yeah, you motherfucker, you tried to end my fucking career. Boom! Yeah. He got a yellow, and they were playing 10v10 for the last, I'd say, like 8 or 9 minutes. They just couldn't find the equalizer, so they're down. So we got to beat Paraguay on Sunday in Kansas City, which is supposed to be a scorcher.
No, it's not Paraguay; it's Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Which is even worse. I'll take Paraguay. Like fucking Uruguay's. They were a top 5 team in the world fucking last World Cup cycle. That team is good. That sucks. Thanks for breaking that news to me. That's fun. I love America.
There's nothing else. And Uruguay's up on Bolivia right now, 2-0. I mean, you should go back and watch, obviously Tim Weah is just agitated that this guy is tugging on his jersey and pulling him and tugging and pulling, and he fucking lays the lumber to him on the other side of the field. And it was just a very, very dumb decision by a very young player.
I will say it's been an interesting tournament because it's a little bit of South American flair with a little bit of CONCACAF metal. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you understand. I think, Wes, sure. You understand what I mean? Like, CONCACAF is a very physical, very hard-nosed, a lot of hard tackles. Referees let a lot of play go. That's the kind of style of play that the CONCACAF is. And you mix that with the beauty of Argentina and Brazil and fucking Colombia. And, you're going to get a lot of fucking red cards and yellows. It's not surprising, but I think that diminishes a game between two good teams in a group that, has a lot of potential. So, that's interesting. I want to see the highlights because sounds like a fucking mayhem.
Played their ass off, but certainly you've got to have some decorum about you, knowing that this team is trying to agitate you. You're the superior team, and they played like it until Weah. Well, even after he went out, because that goal that was scored was incredible. But sorry, I didn't want to ruin it for you. So we'll catch up to catch the game on Sunday or something.
Yeah, no, we'll watch the last one. I think by Sunday we should be settled down, so maybe you guys can come over and check out the new place. But no, that's unfortunate, man. That's we're a better team than the group. We should easily get through that group, but the buzzsaw is what it is, right? Like, CONMEBOL is there. You're gonna have to play Brazil or Colombia or fucking Argentina or something like that in the near future. And if you can't fucking stack up against these lesser teams, you've got a whole lot of hurt coming your way. Whether you're 10th or 11th in the world or not, doesn't fucking matter. Those South American teams will put you to the sword real quick.
Very true. So, last thing before we let you go, the middle class holes will be at Camden Yards, not in tandem, but in full trio tomorrow night. Watch
That's
out,
right.
folks. Here we come. CUM. We're going to come all over that
Fucking
place.
right.
Come on the chairs, come in the bleachers, come in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Definitely bathrooms.
Listen, I'm gonna see some sights. I'm gonna use some stuff, and I'm gonna M some fucking M's. You know, whatever that means. You know, we use some stuff. I'm gonna M some M's. You know, I'm gonna CUM all over the place. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time.
Speaking of which,
It's
look at that. Right here.
Yeah.
This got peanut butter in them. It's thick.
These are the peanut butter M&Ms.
Yeah, that's thick. Get a thick mouthful. Get a hawk.
I like it with my beer. Yummy.
It's like a hawk too, kind of stuff, you know.
What makes an M&M just go crazy? You got a hot two on that thing. Feel me?
Yeah.
Woo!
You gotta put some peanut butter in it. Made it too thick to hawk to.
You go hot.
It's real greasy. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Oh, well,
All right, fellas.
Alan, appreciate the pit stop, man. Take her easy. We'll see you manana.
Hey, I love you, boys. We'll see you tomorrow.
I love you too,
Peace
man.
out.
See ya.
Thank you, guys.
Well, hot damn.
He is boozed up. That's the most boozed up I've ever seen that man.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, the O's were hitting bombs, and he was fucking slamming back Rona 22 ounces. And I know where he gets that. That's that center field bar that has him.
Well, but just not to derail everything here, but you know that Hawk 2 girl has she was a preschool teacher.
I think that was debunked. I think that was fact checked on the internet. We were talking about that at my golf tournament that I was at this past weekend, and said someone kind of got wise to it. I was like, really? And like, yeah, oh, that's not true.
Okay, well, good. I'm fearing. I hope she didn't lose her job, even if it's not preschool. But like,
Right.
Because I mean, at some point, we're like this show. I mean, if you're just gonna get fired for dumb shit you say, see you later.
We're doomed.
Like,
We're absolutely doomed. Yeah.
We're automatically doomed. We're 5 years of like catalog doomed with the shit.
Guys,
we
gonna say, you don't have to like comb through a couple episodes. You got
Just
5
start at the
years worth of solid content. Yeah.
If we're not fired by episode 3, then you know what? Then we've wasted our time here.
That's right. This isn't some sort of PC. Not the PC class middle guys. Actually, a coworker of mine would like, you still got that podcast, The Working Class Holes? It's like, yeah, we sure do.
Yeah, that's it. That
So what was
rolls
I
right off
saying?
the tongue.
Speaking of freak shows, oh, that's right. A freak show came to our town hall or our town carnival, and it was kind of, dude. We were they had all the posters or like the oil paintings, like the lizard man, the fat woman, the guy, and it was literally there was a guy who was tattooed head to toe who got his tongue,
Forked.
modified, forked into a lizard. There was a guy who would nail his tongue into a board. There was a couple of those. Then there was a contortionist, and she kind of lay in a box, and you had to pay extra money to go see these, like, I don't know, sheep blades like jammed through a box and her kind of contorted in a weird way. It was just, I don't know, underwhelming.
Yeah, well,
Lackluster, if
it's
you will.
underwhelming because now we're supposed to. The month of June has told you that that's just supposed to be normal now. Like,
Good point.
you know, like everybody just wears that as a badge of honor. Like, this is my unique skill set. I mean, there was a time where like one of the original like world's fattest men, he would just be a regular on Saturdays at Bob's Big Boy. Like, not even like a guy that you would give 2 glances at if you saw him walking around the mall. I mean, that's how quote unquote fat these guys were, you know, back in the turn of the century. The Fort Ton guy, I mean, that might be your kid's 5th grade teacher now. We're not even like, I feel bad for the freaks. Freak shows were a place where people who were sneered at by society could go find good work, travel, maybe meet somebody along the way and actually find, but now they're just Now they're shunned. Now, if you want to make money as a natural born freak, you got to go to India and convince them you're a god. That ain't cool.
Right. I also think that I'm reasonably certain. I have to verify because my cousins were in town from the Midwest, and they rarely came as a family over here, and they came for one summer, and we did a whole bunch of shit. We took them down to DC, did all the monuments, all the free stuff. Took them to an Orioles game, did the Inner Harbor, got them out on a boat in the Chesapeake Bay. But that happened to be in town while they were there, and there was it was a bearded lady, and me and my cousin that were my age were reasonably certain that it was just taped fake hair. Like, I don't know. That looks. I mean. Maybe it grows weird on women. Maybe it's just like, that's all patchy and looks like it's caulk. It's just filled in the middle. Caulk.
Like caulk her face has seen in quite some time. Yeah, but now if you saw a bearded woman, it would be somebody with a glandular issue, and you wouldn't be allowed to gawk at them.
That's right. It's good. That is a very solid point. I stand corrected.
The best freak show we ever had, my cousin from Texas, he's only stayed with us maybe 3 times in our life. And he came for my graduation, and across the street, these 2 twins that would have been in my same class had they gone to real school, but they were homeschooled, and they were doing their very own homeschool graduation in the front yard. And my cousin, who was mesmerized by this, let's see, if I was 17, he was 28, maybe almost pushing 30. He grabbed our lawn chairs from the backyard and posted them up right in the front yard and watched this homeschool graduation because he thought it was the most amazing thing he had ever set his eyes on in his entire life.
Yeah, and if they gave him shit about it, then shame on them, because you don't have the graduation if you don't want someone to watch. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's a private audience only. Like, fuck you. It's a graduation. It's a public event.
The best part is they actually had a record with the, dun, dun, with Randy Macho Man Savage's music.
Right. Speaking of which, we got something to get to here. And the number 2 thing is something about mixed up songs. So this is from BuzzFeed. We like to do lists here. These are facts that people found out way too late in life. Murr, are you ready?
Oh, I'm more than ready.
All right. We'll start off with something relatively easy. I never heard Yosemite out loud. I had always been reading it as Yosemite.
Well, yeah, Alan's talked about this before, like with epitome, like you've only ever seen it written as epitome when it's epitome. But yeah, Yosemite's such a weird, long word. Like, what would you think that word was? What would you think it was if you didn't think it was Yosemite?
Yosemite. That's phonetical.
Yeah, I know, but wait, is it like Vegemite? Like, is it a food product?
Oh,
like,
is that so? Well, I'd probably on the sly ask my brother, but hey, not really get to the bottom of anything.
But there's no other context that word would be used except for a location. And even though you might glance over it and say, oh yeah, we're going to go to Yosemite. I mean, Yosemite. Like, I feel like your brain would automatically, I pronounced that wrong because my eyes are stupid. Right. I feel like even though you've seen it like that, you have to internally know. The only time I felt like a real dumb shit was I was driving through Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona. That's right. A lot of those have to do with it's native, right? It's the Native American, I guess whatever tribe was. The ABC song, the ABC song and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star have the same melody. I was about 27 years old when I realized it. Blew my mind then.
Yeah. I got nothing for that. I guess it's something you don't really realize because, like, if you're a kid, you're concentrating on, like, what's being said. But I realized that as soon as I had my own child. And I'm like, oh, this and this. There's, like, 3 of them, I think, that are the same tune.
Probably, yeah. I mean, just dumb it down. You don't have to get real crazy with it, especially with something like A, B, C, D, F, G. You're trying to just find something that's the dun 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 dun. Yeah. If it wasn't going to be that song, it was going to be something else.
Well, and there was a time where, like, they recycled all sorts of songs. There wasn't a lot of, like, composers outside of, like, the actual arts. So if you were, like, just some country bumpkin, unless you were, like, a musician, like, you would have to recycle all, like, the church hymnals you heard.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you wouldn't know any music. You probably only
Right.
heard like 10 songs your entire life if you were raised in like the 1600s.
Yeah, doing graduations on your front lawn.
That's right.
Uh, how to spell guarantee? Still working on it. It's pretty good. I don't have that problem, but there are a couple words that I'm like, I'm gonna learn that one day. I'm gonna get a pen and paper and I'm gonna write it 500 times until I figure it out. Nah, just,
Dude,
spell
there's no
correct works
point.
out now. Yeah.
William, because of the iPad and the auto finish of a word, like he only needs like how do you spell got it? Like I can't like what word? Got it. Because he only needs like the first 3 letters and he
Right.
figures out what he's doing.
Yeah. Here we go. Go from spelling to definitions. This is a little bit different. The meaning of the word bestiality. I set it to hype up my friend's trombone playing skills in 9th grade, and the look on his face was awkward. Yo, you're playing that trombone playing is bestiality.
I can see from a slang perspective like where that makes sense.
Well, it's like I was when I was teaching high school, the word, especially at an all guys high school, to refer to a really good athlete was a beast. And you
Yeah.
could that translated to a few other things, skills of sorts. But yeah, then to to throw that in there, I was gonna say common mistake. I guess for someone who
Well,
doesn't
you
know
know
what
what?
bestiality is.
I applaud that person for not knowing what bestiality is. The rest of us are all sick fucks who are completely aware and have probably witnessed some of it, unfortunately, in our younger pornographic viewing days.
Right.
That might have been, it wasn't the first, but it was definitely before I got to like double digit pornographic films. Like there was one making its rounds in Perryville, and God rest his soul. I won't say his real name, but Radham Dopeland. His brother had it, and we watched that one night, and I was like, oh my God, is that chicken dead?
Oh Lord. I was actually telling this to a group of friends of mine here in the city the other day. There was 3 or 4 of us. We were watching a porn that was based off of, it wasn't based off a movie, but it was a baseball team. All right. And, they played baseball in the day and they had lots of sex at night, with various women, a lot of changing of these women. And then one of the guys has a change of heart. He's like, I don't want to play anymore. Don't want to play pro ball. And it's not this team. It's baseball. I'm disenfranchising myself from the sport. One of his teammates and confidants is like, I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to put my ass on the line. And then it cuts to cuts to a bestiality scene. No, a straight on MM scene. And I was like, oh, wow. We all kind of looked at each other like, well, we shouldn't tell anyone about this ever in our lives. Here I am.
Well, how do you think I feel?
We told
How do you-
everybody.
How do you think I feel coming home from the depot with a boxless video cassette, putting it in? Like, there's a fireman and a policeman and just a random guy on a couch. This girl's really gonna get it tonight. Nope.
That's right. It's getting the shaft. Okay. I don't know what one of these words mean. Okay. I know what the word that got mixed up means. I don't know what the word that she later on got it mixed up with, but I once accidentally shouted, I love necrophilia during my 10th grade class. I just read about it in a book. I was a young teenage necromancer and got the words mixed up. We can cringe together. I don't know what that is.
Necromancer, I believe, is like a comic series, and it like more of like fantasy world stuff. It does deal with the dead, but yeah, it doesn't deal with having sex with the dead.
Okay, could be like an undead type thing or something like. Okay,
like imagine necro meaning dead and romance meaning romance. So,
understood.
Yeah, yes,
I love necrophilia. Pumpkin spice does not actually taste like pumpkin. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how earth shattering that is. I mean,
did they? Well, I mean, if you, it seems like it's in the name, but it's just a spice that you put on pumpkin, a lot of cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
But
Nutmeg.
but no, I guess people think like, oh, this is pumpkin spice, meaning it's made of pumpkin. Therefore, this is what pumpkin tastes like. Whereas pumpkin just tastes like potato.
Right. Yeah. One of the Spice Girls should have been pumpkin.
Well, yeah, but isn't it better to say ginger?
I guess. Well, there was 5 of them. You could have had ginger and pumpkin.
Hottest
And
Spice
baby.
Girl.
Who? Pumpkin?
Hottest Spice Girl.
Oh,
No, I'm asking you.
I don't know who was Jerry Harwell. What was she?
You talking about the one that did Playboy? Who was
Yeah.
Ginger Spice? Yeah.
Is that
That
who
was
it was?
Ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bet.
I always
There
thought
she
Mel
is.
B was. I always thought Mel B was the hot or Scary Spice, whatever.
I don't know them by name like that.
The
so.
black chick. I always thought she was the hottest of the group.
Yeah, she was in the running. She was in the mixed. I mean, it wasn't like there was a bad pumpkin seed in the bunch.
The Sporty Spice was a little like,
yeah, she's gonna have a little rough around the edges. This is. They say like no dumb questions. There are no dumb questions in the class, and if someone asked this, you'd be like, yeah, that's a fucking dumb question. That West Virginia doesn't mean that West Virginia doesn't mean the western part of Virginia. I learned this when I was 13, even though 50 states were part of the 3rd grade curriculum. You have Virginia and you have your western part. That's West Virginia. Jesus Christ, people.
What about the Dakotas and the Carolinas?
I don't know. I guess there's a Carolina, there's a North and a South, and a Dakota.
It does make me wonder, like, I mean, I'd have to do my research on this because I'm pretty sure there was a time where like all of Virginia was all of Virginia, and then somebody was like, you know what, we'd be a lot better off if we just got rid of that western portion.
That's
of
right.
The state.
Just make it its own little Puerto Rico. Different. This one isn't as bad as some of the others, especially because it's an age thing. When I turned 21, and again at 21, maybe you haven't drank a whole lot. Maybe you're still kind of learning your ways about the alcohols and the booze, and in this case, the wine. All I knew that there was that wine was red or white. I tried to order white wine, and the waiter asked which one. I asked what they had, and I picked the one I felt most confident pronouncing.
That's okay, a good.
So you didn't know there was a Pinot Grigio and a Cabernet and Sauvignon Blanc.
I'll be 45 in 2 days, and I know there's a Pinot Noir, and I know there's a Pinot Grigio. I know there's a Chardonnay. I don't even know if a Pinot Grigio is a white or a red wine.
Pinot Grigio is white.
Oh, okay. See, Noir makes sense because I know Noir is like black or dark in another language that I don't speak. So yeah, all right. So Grigio is I don't know. So don't but I gotta say, the intelligence level to ask the waiter like, what do you
have? Yeah.
And then which one can I reproduce with my vocal cord? Sure. That's a wise decision.
Yes, I have the Pinot Grigio. I'm gonna assume you said Pinot Grigio. Fair enough, sir. This is yummy.
And by the way, I went down a TikTok rabbit hole, and it's like these quote unquote kids who've just turned 21 and are literally tasting alcoholic beverages for the first time, and I'm amazed by it. I'm amazed by it because I can tell you, I think I had my first booze when I was. And I will say for Cecil County, I was probably a little older than most, like 14, 15.
Right. It's about the time I tried. I mean, I had sipped my dad's Heinekens when I was young. I think I had a shot, and by a shot, I mean I was like of Crown when I was 13. But I had a 140 when I was 15 and got pretty drunk.
I bet you did.
Pretty loaded. That last 3 to 4 ounces of that old E. Whoo-wee. Boy, that tasted like Pinot pee-pee.
Pinot PPO.
That's right.
It was my freshman year. We went out camping in the woods in like late October. So it was fucking like 12 degrees at night. And I think I had 7 half beers so I didn't look like a pussy. I'd drink about half of it, and then I'd go, I gotta pee. And then while I was peeing, I'd dump the rest of it out. I need another one.
You and millions of other teenagers.
Okay, good. Glad to hear it.
Myself included. Carrot cake is really made with carrots. I thought because they usually piped a little carrot on the top, and the fact that you ate it around Easter, they just called it that for no other reason.
Okay, that's just dumb.
Yep, I thought so.
I'll give them that. Yeah, that's dumb.
A girl I knew thought roadside memorials were actual graves.
Well, kind of. I mean, they're not.
Right.
But they kind of are, right?
You put flowers there, and there's always some, not always, but depending upon the family's victims or loved ones, they treat it as much of a grave that they do their actual grave.
I honestly, if you're to believe in all this stuff, I would honestly believe that where the soul left the body would be the place that you would memorialize more than where you dumped the body after the soul left it. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, in a way, I feel like it's more accurate to say, like, that's where we should grieve, not over here at Jane Doe's Methodist United Church.
Right. Wouldn't that be something if the family every year came to the hospital room, regardless of who was in there? Like, hey, we got to pay homage to our grandmother who passed away right here 1 year ago. You can sit there. That's fine. You can't move anyway. So
don't worry about it. And you can keep the flowers.
That's right. 2 for 1. This is my personal favorite. That Powmia wasn't pronounced phonetically as Pimia. Was it Palmia? My husband had quite the laugh a few years back when I pointed out someone else also had a Palmia flag.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I will say the military does overuse acronyms and such.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. Very true. And I like, it's just like anything. Learning these things, regardless of when it is, can be an aha moment. And I'm sure that this person, you see those flags, you see those bumper stickers, you see the tire covers on the back of, Jeeps or pickups or whatever with the spare tire. And, it's the same across the board. The graphic hasn't changed in, I don't know, fucking decades. And yeah, Palmia right there. Look at that. Honoring the dead.
Is it really fair, though, to, like, mix those two together? Like, shouldn't they be their own separate group? Prisoner of war, missing in action?
Missing in action, yeah. I mean, it's, that you can be both, but yeah, I think it's probably better to separate those. But again, I've never served, and I'm certainly not going to, die on that hill. Be like, hey guys, look, I've been thinking a lot, and you fucked this up.
No, I'm just saying. I feel like that both should be regarded like separate but equally.
Sure.
I mean, and what would you? By the way, all right, while we're on the subject, what would you prefer, prisoner of war or just missing in action?
Oof. I mean, selfishly, missing in action because you're probably dead. Yeah, just getting tortured over and over and over again.
That's fair point. Yeah, or you just decided to like make that new life for yourself you always wanted.
That's right.
I'm
the Southwest Pacific with a young native.
Yeah.
Boy or girl, whatever your liking is.
Hey, you prefer just hanging out in Burma somewhere.
Right. Hump Day is referring to the day in the middle of the week, like over a hump, not a day where everyone humps. I always found it weird at my office job when someone would say hump day, like, dude, I'm pretty sure you can't say that here. I was 27 when I realized that. 27, it's a little late in the game, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, again, this is another one of those where, like, depending on how old you are, and 27's too old to not know that Wednesday's hump day.
That's right.
Or at least the context clues, the Yosemite yourself into a recollection there.
Confusion of hump day. Yeah. I mean, because some jackass is going to say it. And like to think of it as like, it's, it's a sex day.
No, most of them are going to do it to fucking like, because that Geico commercial with the fucking camel walking around the office.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What day is it? Hey, what day is it?
You know what day it is? This one's for you. Until 2018, I thought Elon Musk was kind of a truck stop bathroom clone from the makers of Johann Musk. I wish it were really, I really wish it were true.
Hey, if all this space exploration, internet, and brain surgery doesn't work out, maybe he just does his own line. By the way, Rogan had the Neuralink guy on.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I genuinely think they chose this guy because he's just like a regular bro. Like, hey man, go out on the world tour, tell everybody about our shit. Because all he's looking forward to is playing Call of Duty.
Be the spokesperson for this. People will trust you. People will feel more enlightened.
Yeah, because he's not a twat. He he was the perfect spokesperson for it, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, I can do stuff on the internet finally. It works like this. Just total like layman's, just explaining like what he knows to have had to happen to him, and but then to also just say like, yeah, I can't wait for them to dial it in so that I can play Call of Duty, because he's like, I have my own, because it automatically, I guess not guesses. It's just if your brain sends out a signal, the signal has to go out and then travel back. His only goes one way. So it's twice as fast as any of our reaction times. So if he's staring at a screen and he wants to shoot somebody and he sees them, as soon as he sees them, it's like, shoot, it shoots. And he also explained that he doesn't have to like say, my middle finger is doing this for something to happen. He's like, I can tell myself wiggle an ass cheek does that response on the screen.
Wow. And
he can, so he's like, I can dial it in. Kind of like when you had like an old Sega Genesis and you didn't like that on Street Fighter that the like the hard punch was over here and not over here. You could go in, you could switch where that control is. Yeah, he can turn it to do whatever the fuck he wants it to do based on any response.
Make it like his perfect power glove.
That's right.
Which is the most worthless contraption ever contracted.
I spent 2 summers saving to buy that to play Mike Tyson's Punch Out one time.
Bummer, man. Would you watch The Wizard get a fucking erection? Yeah, okay. Yeah, 100%. You and everybody else. I thought everyone got a vacation for their birthday. Mine is on December 28th, so I had no school. So I had no school for 20 years at my first job. I went to my boss and complained they scheduled me. I was so surprised. Yeah.
That's kind of fair. Like if it's just something that always happened and you were like, what's up with this? I thought this was a birthday thing. And your parents lied to you. Your parents lied to you about like, this is your special day. So I don't have anything to do. Yeah, It's all about you right now.
No work. I took off work for you. That's right. Kind of. It's chest of drawers, not Chester drawers. That was pretty clever. Pretty neat.
You have a few of those. I don't have any specifically in the front of my mind. But you have a few of those.
Oh, I sure do. 100%. I should put these on there. I didn't answer.
Self-awareness. I appreciate it.
This is from obviously a Credence, that it's the bad moon on the rise, not the bathroom on the right. I ruined the song for my mom when I told her what I heard. Bathroom on the right.
That just makes no sense though. But like the Jimi Hendrix song, a lot of people think he says, "Excuse me while I kiss this guy," instead of "Excuse me while I kiss the sky."
Sure. Oh, yeah, there's dozens of them.
But that one makes more sense than the bathroom on the right.
Bathroom on the right. That's right. John Fogerty was really talking about one of his favorite pit stops. That's old Elon Musk cologne.
At a Carnival.
25 cents. 25 cents.
I found a bunch of quarters on the zipper machine.
It's gonna go load up. I thought the term birthday suit meant a suit you're literally supposed to wear on your birthday.
That's fair.
Yeah. Let's see here. The little arrow. I don't like. There's more people I think that don't know this than do. But anyway, the little arrow on my dash besides the gas pump icon points to the side of the car where the gas door is. Rental cars were 50-50 shot of getting it right. If I look, if I forgot to look first before driving, so it was a good thing to learn at 40 years old.
Ooh, 40. I
Yeah.
learned mine when I was 27, but I guess I just never needed to know it because I just remember as a kid, it was like, hey, just remember what side the gas tank's on. And then it would
Yeah.
be like driver's side, passenger side. And after you nailed it 10 times in a row, like I never needed to look. But yeah, I didn't drive a lot of strange cars until I started driving work vehicles. And some guy at work was like, just where's the arrow on the gas gauge? It's like, what? And finally I'm like, holy shit, there's a
Right.
thing there. I just didn't even know
Yeah.
the icon was there.
Yeah. And I also like even getting a new car where it's on the same side and knowing that just through sheer, repetition, I'll fuck it up the first couple times. God damn it. You pull up the same side of the car that you've had for years and years and years, even knowing that icon's there. I thought, quote, cattle was closely related to separate species of cow. I didn't know that until, didn't find that until grad school.
Wow.
Cattle.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to help make an excuse here, but like,
That's what you're doing in grad school. Depends upon what grad school you're going to. If you're getting your MPA, knowing the phylum of cow, whatever the kingdom of that is.
well, wasn't there something where somebody that we knew didn't know what surf and turf was? We've been doing this show too long for
Yeah, I
too
don't
many of
know.
these things. Well, I mean, and it is kind of like, okay, like when I know somebody at work that didn't know what venison was, and I
Okay.
didn't hold it against them. They're in their 30s. I was like, it's deer. Like, why do they call it venison? And then I have to roll my eyes and go, oh, this goes back to the English, the Anglos and the French and blah, 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 and the beef and the boof and the cow and the pig and the swine and the pork. And it's a whole thing. But yeah, it's venison, it's deer. So, I mean, there are
Gotcha.
some confusing things there. But yeah, cattle, it's,
Thinking that's a different phylum of cow.
yes.
Totally different. Until I was 19, I thought fly fishing was fishing out of a plane or helicopter. I figured it just flew really low and slow, and they had a really long fishing line. That's come on. Where did you like you? Was there ever an instance where you just saw what you thought it was?
I
A
mean, I
helicopter just
have.
propelling.
The problem is, like, with the internet, I have seen people, like, hanging out of a helicopter with a bow and arrow and, like, shooting fish and then pulling them up.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, I mean, if you grew up in this era, then maybe I could see. But, yeah, man, like, but I still don't see how those motherfuckers call those things flies, like, what they're throwing in the water. Like, yeah, you're
Right.
tricking some fish, but, like, they don't look like flies.
Well, the bait.
That's what I mean. Isn't the bait supposed to simulate, like, a fly or a water bug landing on top of the water?
Yeah, I mean that it makes sense to me. Where's the disconnect with you? That it
Because
doesn't look
like
like a fly.
whatever they're tying to the barb or to the hook, like
Mhm.
it doesn't look like a fly to me. I mean, I know it's a fish and it doesn't take much to trick them, but like that thing that they're throwing to stay on top of the water for a millisecond doesn't
Yeah.
look like a fly to me.
Okay.
Or is it because of the
And
wheel? Or is it because of the wheel of the reel? Is it flies? I don't know. I don't know why they
yeah,
call it fly fishing.
I've never done it, so I couldn't tell you. Rhode Island isn't an island. I learned that at 53 years old.
That's a fair one though.
Right.
Because I mean, if you look up at the area, like you got Massachusetts, and you got the big hook that goes out.
Perhaps you just think there's a river the entire way around the border, right? Even if,
But,
albeit it might be a small one. It's an island, quote unquote.
but why do they call it Rhode Island? Why is it call it an island?
Oof. We need Alan.
Yeah, we do need Alan to look that up. I mean, because and it's a good thing they don't spell road like ROAD, because then it would be like, wow, it's an island, and it's just one road running right through the ocean.
That's right. Gotta give it throw the H in there. Doesn't make it an island. A cup is a unit of measurement. I always wondered how you could have one cup of something in the recipe when everyone has different cups.
Okay, all right. I've been very generous with these, trying to make sense of them. We're done here.
This is good. My uncle once told me if I got 1,000 bee stings, I'd die. He meant all at once. For years, I thought he meant cumulatively. I kept count.
The venom would just get to a breaking point.
That's right. 1,000 is everybody's breaking point. Every human has a mark.
Limit.
It's about 1,000.
Yeah, 999. Like a cat with 9 lives gets to 8. Like, oof, better watch yourself. There was a whole movie, Puss in Boots. That was a whole movie based on that.
Walk gingerly. When you go outside in your yard with your brother to play wiffle ball, put shoes on. You ain't stepping on them, some of these fuckers. It's coleslaw, not cold slaw. Never looked at the menus too hard.
By the way,
is there a hot slaw?
Here, I'm bringing back my generosity here. Cold slaw makes a lot more. I don't know what coal is, and I don't really know what slaw is, but whatever that concoction is looks like a slaw and makes sense to only eat it if it's cold. So I'll give him a little bit of half credit on that one.
Yeah. What is sauerkraut? Would that person consider sauerkraut hot slaw?
I mean, I would, based on its texture
and heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Same plant for the most part. There's some cold slaw for you. And lastly, when I was super little, whenever I put socks on, I thought I just kept guessing correctly which one was my left and which one was my right sock. Little did I know, socks didn't work like gloves.
All you gotta get right's that heel, man. And when I was a kid, I don't remember socks having heels in them.
No.
I feel like when we were, I feel like a lot of quote unquote technology has just advanced so much in our era that, like, the socks I'm wearing right now, if I took them off, I couldn't universally like flip them upside down and put them on and they'd fit right. There'd be like this weird bulge where the heel was designed. I feel like when I was a kid, tube socks were literally just tubes of cloth that were closed off at one end, and you just jammed your fucking foot in there and prayed for comfort.
Covered it up as much as you could. Yeah. Now I will say a lot of the athletic socks that either Nike or some of the other companies making, some of the other competitors are making right and left specific socks. I don't know if that has to do with like the arch is slightly a little bit different. They sew it in a pattern to where, yeah. So I have a few of them and I guess wrong nearly every time. I'm like, it's because I don't guess. I'm like, it's the right one. Fuck. I'll take it off.
Put a color-coded like big toe spot on there and put that on the inside. That's it. That's how they should do it. I'm saying they don't.
There's an L and an R by the big toe.
Well, then you're an idiot.
I need to read better. Need to read gooder. Yes. So there you have it, folks. Embarrassing facts that folks learned way too late in life. Well, I don't know if we're going to get to anything that's embarrassing, but we're going to learn it later in life here in our 40s, Murr. Take us away with fun fact fraudy.
Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. OMG facts brought to you by our good friend over on Instagram. He's the Cuckster. He's the Cuckster for life. Cuckster, the number 4 life on Instagram. He's had his, have we had the melee in Reading just yet?
The melee in Reading has taken place, and Cumberland is his next stop. Emphasis on the first 3 letters of that town name. And I did have a recommendation from a Cuckster faithful. They said, I want to know about the origins. I want to know what spawned the cucking, the grassroots, the seedling of the cuckamania.
Ooh, that is a tale that does need to be told.
And
it will be told on Instagram. Cuckster for life.
No, I agree. The faithful wants to hear.
Okay, let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Did you know during the 1909 World Fair in Seattle, a baby was given away in a raffle?
I think I've heard that somewhere. What you say? What city was it? Seattle.
Seattle, 1909.
Yeah, God damn! I want to believe I read that in some odd fact book and was absolutely floored. A raffle. Good God, man! Times change. Probably next to some Carnival hoagie who didn't know how to fix the tilt-a-whirl. Man, what the hell?
I know.
Was this their way of like orphanages and like, hey, anyone want a kid? This kid doesn't have a parent. We're raffling it off.
Look, we do have the presidential debate probably wrapping up right about now, probably maybe another 30 minutes our time.
If it hasn't wrapped up, both of them have fell asleep.
But no, there's times where the government does work for the welfare of people, and there was a time where healthcare was probably so bad that just fucking parents just perished at work and no one knew about it, and there was a baby crying on the other side of a wall, and it's like, I know what we can do. What's that? We'll take him down to the World's Fair, raffle him off for 30 pence.
That's right. Here's an orphan with two parents that died of lupus. Ooh. You didn't have lupus? Well, it's 50-50, just like the raffle.
Yeah, and you know what? That kid may or may not have been. I don't know. Were they better off? Because the type of folks that buy a kid at a raffle, are they better parents than what they had before? Are they better parents than no parents?
Yeah, tough to say. I mean, I think chances are you probably had someone who needed a little work done around the house. You know, you needed some extra hands, some horsepower, some child power, which is a little bit less than horsepower until they grow up.
Yeah, here's an example of like me talking about government working for you, and or unions, for example. Like there was a time where send the kids to work. They need something to do all day, and then unions got involved. And it's like, no, small children shouldn't be sticking their hands into machinery that's operating
for 13 hours, 14 hours a day. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Sometimes government does work for you. Sometimes government.
Where's the next World Fair? Gotta hit that up. See what's happening.
Yeah, why don't we? Do we have World's Fairs anymore?
Not that I know of. My guess, it's if they have them, it's been ages since they've had one in the States. The last one I could tell you verified was New York City in the '60s.
I just feel like the way technology pumps out on the daily, like. A good World's Fair would probably be a wise thing to do in this generation for this generation.
So the company that I work for in the industry that I'm in, they have regularly have trade shows. You know what I mean? They have companies who produce, the latest and greatest in technology for specific genres, whether that be networking or collaboration or data center or what have you. And they have these things. Now, I don't know if it very well may be that everyone going to this probably knows about it and it's just more of a networking party. I know that Aruba, which is a subsidiary of Hewlett Packard, just recently had one in Las Vegas. How much learning and networking and understanding of the new technologies that they were putting out is debatable. And I know Vegas is a great learning town. I know that you can accumulate a lot of knowledge in some place like that. But my point is that to say a World's Fair is obsolete just simply because of the advent of the internet and the anything you want to learn is at your fingertips, may be debatable. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like what you're talking about is more of like an industry fair where the people that are learning about it already know 90% about it. This thing does 10% better than what you already know of.
Sure.
Whereas a World's Fair introduces the public to revolutionary technologies that are on the horizon. Like AI would maybe be good for my parents to be introduced to, even myself. What's this capable of? Real world, tangible introductions to things that are going to change your lives. Correct. Might be a smart idea. We're going to watch people break dance at the Olympics this year for medals.
Mm-hmm. I'm
saying you can gather people in a room for less interesting things.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I've seen it on the internet, and I would still want to see that Boston Dynamics robot act like it just took a fresh fucking line of crocodile.
Yeah, 100%. But more than that, show me real world what it's going to do. Like, why are you guys making this? I mean, we were joking with Alan about the drone bombs that are being utilized in Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
Like, the drones, from my understanding, were originally like Amazon was going to deliver your cat food to your house. Now they're delivering C4 to a poor Russian guy's face. You know, I'd like to think that they would show you some real world aspects of the things that are going to be introduced to you in the near future, and how maybe it would better your life. Or you could be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Pump the brakes on this one. You know, a little more public outrage on things that may or may not come to fruition.
Yeah, I could not tell you when or where the last World's Fair was. No idea.
I have more, and I want Billy Mays' corpse at all of them.
Yeah, that's right. You know, the last one they had that was a spaceship, because I saw Men in Black, and they stole it from Queens. Actually, I've been there once to that not to the World's Fair, but to that where the World's Fair was. It's right outside of the Billie Jean King Tennis Center, where they do the U.S. Open every year. And I went with Adam, our legal counsel, and Rarick Rilby, and we got general admission tickets, 7 a.m. Oh no, what was it? 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, and it was supposed to be a fun-filled day. These two were hungover like a motherfucker. Now, I will give them worlds of credit, because we sat in a unshaded, undone, it's since been done, Louis Armstrong, which is the number 2 stadium. Now it's more of a venue like Arthur Ashe's. It was still impressive, but it was about 101 degrees, and we sat through like 2 sets, and they're all just hungover, just like, so the only place you could smoke cigarettes was out there. Now you could go there and get back in, free admission. It wasn't like, hey, you need to buy new tickets. But on the fountain, the elevated fountain area where that big globe is, where the World's Fair stage was, Kilby was laying on his back smoking a cigarette, like, oh, I don't think I want to go back in. It's like, motherfucker, these tickets weren't cheap. We're going back in. I'll drag you in this bitch.
That's hilarious.
Fucking raffle you off.
You wouldn't get much.
Who would like a 32-year-old man?
Chain smoker, a little out of shape.
He's hungover right now, but he cleans up well.
And if you want to fall down a rabbit hole, Wes, type in World's Fair conspiracy theories. There's lots of them out there about the architecture. They couldn't have made this back in 1909. No way. Gotcha. Seattle. Okay. They burned it all down. Really? Chicago World Fair burned down. Really? Yeah. Look that one up.
Understood.
Did you know Hershey's Kiss got its name from the puckering sound made by the manufacturing equipment as the chocolate was dropped onto the conveyor belt?
Ooh, nope. No clue. You didn't learn this today in your adventure at Hershey
No,
Park?
But I did learn that my Hershey, the only thing puckering on me at Hershey was my butthole on the first drop on a couple of those roller coasters.
They're gonna have to change the name or come up with a different Hershey Kiss. It's like a Hershey's.
That sucking sound.
Yeah, we actually in my backyard we have it's rusted out, but it's a bathtub that has 3 wheels on it, so it's like 2 in the back, 1 in the front for steering, and it was a Hershey Park chocolate dispenser tub. There's a conveyor belt of these tubs. Chocolate got poured into it and put down to the whatever it got sent to do. My guess is to make chocolate bars for teeth to rot out. My cousin, who used to live with me, thought it'd be a great idea to get one for bonfires in our backyard. We've used it twice. It's a 300-pound fucking ornament in my backyard. Actually, as a matter of fact, on opening day, one of Alan's friends was like, "Hey man, how much for that tub?" And I was like, free. If you fucking bring your pickup truck, I'll help you. Christ, I might even get laid if I help you and get it out of the backyard.
Did you get rid of it?
He hasn't called back. I need to hit him up because something's gonna. I mean, we're eventually gonna leave here, and I can't burn the goddamn thing. It won't. I thought about taking it back to where it came from, but it is like, it's on wheels, but it is like a half-mile trek.
Why don't you, I'm just going to throw this idea at you. Why don't you paint the side, put some topsoil in it, and put a little garden in there? and then say it's an above ground garden and just move on with life.
Could, because we do have a little garden in the backyard. I could say I just added to it.
Yeah.
That's not a bad deal.
I might just
my alley is pretty fucking disgusting. I might just pull it out there and just leave it.
That's what I would do.
It's considered that.
Make it a hassle for the town of Baltimore.
That's right. Yep. Just wipe my fingerprints from it.
I have a feeling there's other things to fingerprint in Baltimore. It's not a makeshift fire pit.
Hey, this is one of those Hershey Kiss containers. Huh? Where did I go find this?
Did you know the oldest recipe in existence is a recipe for beer?
Wow.
I think it's Egyptian. I don't have any facts on the fact, but I do believe it might even be older than Egyptian.
Well, maybe that's why they say walk like an Egyptian, because you're all drunk. You know, the Bengals were onto something.
Now, fun fact, do you know what the Bengals song Walk Like an Egyptian, like the inspiration was?
No clue.
The New York City Ferry.
Wow. Oh, because you're getting bopped
the
around.
water's choppy, and so everybody's like bouncing back and forth, and they're like, walking like an Egyptian. And the whole fucking song came from that.
I thought the recipe was beer from the beer recipe was from Young Einstein, that movie from the late '80s, which is just a bad movie.
Who was Young Einstein? It wasn't Dwight Yoakam, was it?
His name was Wahoo Sirius.
That's what it was.
Australia.
Wow, that guy was a flash in the pan.
You IMDb him up, and you're gonna get 2 credits, maybe. It was a fucking commercial in Australia that aired 4 times.
Yeah, but I feel like that Young Einstein thing was like supposed to catapult him into like superstardom, and it just that never materialized. Oh, speaking of movie stars who've been away for a while, I've been trying. William will only watch like animated movies because there's so many of them, and he's young, and he's like, adult movies have people in them, kids movies have cartoons in them. And I finally got him to sit down and watch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids starring Rick Moranis. And he was like about halfway through, he's like, I am actually really enjoying this movie. I'm like, I knew you would. That's why I'm playing it for you. And so just out of curiosity, I jumped on the old IMDb. Guess what's coming out?
Oh, is it another Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Because I thought we were going to talk about, he stopped working because his wife died and he had 3 kids, and he was he didn't really like the Hollywood lifestyle anyway. He was kind of a recluse, kind of Canadian, not kind of, he was 100% Canadian. But that's why he retired from acting altogether, just to raise his kids and get away. But anyway, what is
everything?
Is there a
everything you said is absolutely correct, but under upcoming, which nothing's been done for quite a while, it says Shrunk, starring Rick Moranis. I clicked it. There's a full cast of characters. He's a grandfather now. And so there's a whole cast. Even like characters from the original have been cast as the daughter and the son and yada, yada, yada. So yes, Rick Moranis is going to be making his theatrical comeback with Shrunk 2025.
Goddamn. All right. Keep turning. I'm going to keep this ticker going for one more. For that.
Goddamn right, man. I love me some Rick Moranis. They apparently offered him a truckload of money just to be in the new Ghostbusters movie, and he was like, I'm not ready to come back yet. Really? Like, you were a bit part in a great movie, and they're going to back a dump truck up?
Could have made out with Annie Potts again. God, I'd have come out of retirement for that.
For Annie Potts now or Annie Potts then?
Well, you're acting like Rick Moranis has aged gracefully. You never know.
He looks all right. He did Ryan Reynolds actually had him in a Mint Mobile commercial a couple of years ago, and he comes out and he goes, so what am I talking about? He's like, nothing. So why am I here? He's like, we just miss you, Rick. That was the whole commercial. That was the whole commercial.
It took a Canadian to lure a Canadian,
Exactly. And finally, did you know humans don't just shrink with age? We shrink every day. Humans shrink and regain height daily, sometimes as much as 3/4 of an inch in one day. When we move throughout the day, the fluid discs in our spinal column compress and we shrink. When we rest at night, our backbones reabsorb the fluid and her height comes back.
Oh. I knew you typically lose about a quarter inch every 25 years after you stop growing, just due to gravity.
Yeah, I would imagine that fact is half correct on the positive side and half incorrect on the negative side. I have a feeling like at 45, when I lay down at night, all that fluid ain't being fucking absorbed.
I was gonna say you're not 3/4 of an inch shorter. That's quite a doozy. Even your wife would be like, Andrew, what happened to you? It's my best Maria impersonation.
Yeah, that's about right though. And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
All right, folks. Tonight on Before You Go, do we want to make this a middle class holes badass of the month? We need to make up one. We're off next week.
If you want to use it as a badass of the month, I'll allow it, but it'll be under protest.
We'll put it in the running. Northern Irishman, pun intended. Although I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming Northern Ireland grows as many potatoes as and consumes as many potatoes as their brethren to the southwest. Ireland. Northern Irishman assembles Mr. Potato Head in the fastest time ever. A man of many talents. Not only does 20-year-old Declan McFerrin teach gymnastics, taekwondo, and piano, he is now officially the best in the world at putting Mr. Potato Head together, registering a time of 5.15 seconds. He shaved off 0.28 seconds off his previous fastest time in the assembly of Mr. Potato Head, achieved 2 years ago by Malaysian record holder Lim Kai Yi. Declan,
just say it fast and say it hard.
Lim Kai Yi, from County Antrim, Northern Ireland, attempted to break the record for 4 hours before he was successful. He said, "I hadn't seen or owned a Mr. Potato Head since I was a child. However, I was enticed by the record and gave it my best try. And to my pleasant surprise, I managed to break the world record." Well, thank you for that fucking riveting soundbite, Mr. Potato Head record holder, Declan McFerrin. Middle Class Holes Badass of the Month. I haven't tried to assemble a Mr. Potato Head or even disassemble a Mr. Potato Head or even touched a Mr. Potato Head in probably 20 to 25 years. And I surely wasn't like, I'll just think of someone from my childhood. Hey, Dewey, let's have a contest. Who could put the Mr. Potato Head together the fastest? But like everything in this world, there's got to be a world record for something. And in this case, Declan McFerrin owns the record. 5.15 seconds. That includes ears, hat, eyes, nose, mustache, mouth, and as the bottom, does he get this?
He's got feet.
Fucking the Mario pants, is that included as well?
Yeah, Mario pants / feet. It's all one unit. Look, I watched this guy put Mr. Potato Head together in 5 seconds, and I'm not saying he wasn't.
It wasn't like cup stack. It wasn't like cup stacking. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just ridiculous.
It was like a guy had a Mr. Potato Head and it was just like boop, 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 boop. I'm like, that's it? Listen, kids, if you're out there, there's a Northern Irishman who hasn't touched a Mr. Potato Head in like fucking 2 decades, and he has a Guinness Book World Record. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you. We've talked about this with like sprinting events. Like to shave off 100th of a second is a world-class feat. You can shave 2 seconds off this guy's record. I've contemplated going and getting William's old Mr. Potato Head out and just doing this. And just being like, fuck you. Ha 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 ha. Take that, you Guinness drinking motherfucker. It does not look like this is a hard... Right now. Like, there was a time where, like, I'm sure solving a Rubik's Cube I think it took Rubik, the guy who made the Rubik's Cube, like a month to solve his own fucking product the first time. Now there's kids that are doing it blindfolded, solving 3, juggling them in like less than 20 seconds. If there's a Guinness Book World Record now, right for the picking. Get on it, kids.
Yeah. So what you're saying is this is an untapped resource. This could be blown to smithereens. It just so happens that only a handful of people, someone from Malaysia and now someone from Northern Ireland, have given it an honest crack. And now we're like, this could be fucking seconds, fractions of a second.
They put this on the map for you to get yourself in there.
Okay.
So I'm saying that we should all be attempting it. In fact, I bet that it's already been completed in the basement by a 12-year-old. It just has not been officially counted for the good folks. And you know what? The Irish wanted this record for their own fucking book. I bet that's what it is. Because I did not know that Guinness, the beer company, was the holder of the Guinness Book of World Records until like 3 years ago when it was a fact on Fun Fact Friday. So the Irish, I'm sure, don't have a lot of records in their own book. They needed one. Well, and it's a potato, which makes it hilarious.
Let's be clear. He's a Northern Irishman. I know that they're separated by a single border, but there are some distinct differences, including Semtex.
Okay, if you're a Northern Irishman, do you go, I'm a Northern Irishman? Do you say it that, or do you say I'm an Irishman?
No. Because don't they all... You identify as Northern Irishman. This isn't some weird trans thing or pronouns thing.
But wouldn't you... Okay, hold on. I want to pull on this thread for a second, though. But if you're Northern Irishman, right, you feel like you are the rightful Irishman, right? Like those fuckers to the South, they're just fronting. They're not Irish. They're like, I'm Irish. So why would you contextualize your Irishness with some sort of prefix?
I mean, what, 2 or 3 decades of civil war that didn't involve, mobs of people meeting in a field with guns and muskets.
But if you think you're right, why would you be the outlier Irishman? Wouldn't you just? I'm an Irishman. Like, I'm not saying like I'm sure if somebody like really pressed you on the issue, like, oh, where are you from? And you're like, oh, I'm from the northern part of Ireland. Then you might say something. I'm just saying, you call yourself an Irishman.
I'm not okay. I'm going to withdraw myself from this because I'm not going to pretend to know enough about. I've seen movies and documentaries. I've watched parts of the Civil War that took place. I saw In the Name of the Father with Daniel Day-Lewis. I understand there was a lot of civil unrest. I think the only way to here's the other thing. I was surprised Rory McIlroy, who's from Northern Ireland, competed in the last Olympics as an Irishman under the banner of Ireland. And I was like, well, I thought that they didn't do that, but I don't know. Do you know any Northern Irishmen?
No, I've never heard anybody differentiate their Irishness from one to the other. Like the way they do it, which is the most Irish thing in the world, is like they'll ask what kind of whiskey you drink. And it's like Jameson. Okay. It's like Jameson or shit. What's the other one? What's the other Irish whiskey?
Ooh.
There's 2 Irish whiskeys. And like they'll differentiate by which type of whiskey they drink.
I think it's called Mick Potato Head.
Takes me 5 seconds to drink a pint.
That's right. The only way to settle this is put it to a vote. We need to. I'll edit this and we'll put it on TikTok or we'll put it on Instagram and we'll call on Northern Irishmen and Irishmen to see.
Ooh, see, I feel like you did it right there. I feel like right there is where you're gonna get hate because like I just feel like if I'm fighting for the cause because I'm the rightful owner of Ireland, my political, socio-economical, religious perspective is the proper perspective. I'm not telling you I'm Northern Irish. I'm Irish. They are the scallywags. They are the ones who are fronting as Irishmen. They're one or the other is going to be like they're not Irish. They're English. I'm Irish.
That's a good point, because Northern Ireland is a part of the UK.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll get to the bottom of it. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Or we'll get bombed.
Yeah, that's right. Right in the middle of a show. God, that would. Well, we won't live to tell about it, but we'd get millions of listeners.
Damn right. We'd finally take off.
That's right. A handful of listener comments tonight. Parent at your job interview via YouTube. Stephen McMillian 186 writes, the only foreseeable legitimate reason would be assisting with translation, i.e., non-English speaker or ALS or someone with a disability like blindness. This could go both ways in terms of family members being present for the interview. I've personally interviewed a guy, Hispanic, who at the time spoke very little English, brought their middle school age child to translate what I was saying to the guy. I've also worked with a deaf guy who brought his mom to the interview to translate sign language with our boss. Both individuals got the job. Okay. Yeah, I think these are like fractions of percent. I understand what that, and thank you. That's a great fucking comment. We didn't think about those things in our drunken rant about how fucking stupid this was.
But I don't think that the people who wrote the statistic about that factored that in. Yes, that's a legitimate reason to bring a family member to a job interview.
Yeah.
This specifically said bring your parent, one of your parents, to the job interview, which means I don't understand job interviews. I get anxious.
Yeah.
in situations
I don't know.
where
I was very worried about my first job interview. I'd feel more comfortable with mom or dad if one of you came with me and just help me walk me through all the the questions and things like that. Yeah.
Yes.
And then on same actually it's a little bit longer. A little bit longer version on TikTok. Jen with 2 N's. How you got that name? You were early on the TikTok stream, which is fine. I can totally imagine a situation where I'd bring my mother if I really didn't want to get hired, because she'd be the reason.
Exactly.
Don't want the job? I'll bring my mom with me.
Their presence alone. And by the way, if you do feel like you need to bring a parent, I think you should mix and match these listener comments together and say, if you're anxious, lie that you have a disability and you need someone to translate the interview for you in some capacity. You guys can talk it out in the car after the fact, how that went. Let the interviewer be confused.
Right. When the shit hits the fan, and shit's grinding, I'm like, getting crazy and just, get my own world, and I do these things. And man, I produced, I think what my son is trying to say is that he works really hard under pressure. He's a good decision maker. He's sound. He's not knee jerk. He's very meticulous, and he'd make a great employee here at your office, as you can tell. Look at him.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Hey, and pull your pants down. Show him your taint. God, it's world class, sir. I mean, this thing. You should bronze this. Put it on your mantle. It kind of always comes back to that, doesn't it?
It does with you. You're a taint aficionado, man.
Sure am. Actually, when I was down in Puerto Vallarta with my cousin and his brother-in-law and his wife, that joke had got brought up, 8-inch taint, and we were leaving. He's like, I think I heard taint more over the last 5 days than I have in the last 2 decades, man. Wes, I appreciate that. Thank you. You're a funny guy. You really are a funny guy. The fuck you? What am I, a clown? Do I amuse you?
What am I, an Irishman?
What am I, Northern Irish? Huh? Lastly, coming from Calm McCool on Friar Tucking on TikTok. Murr, do you remember this story? Do I need to refresh your memory on this one?
Just to jog the listeners up to speed, Wes used to do a thing he called the gum trick back in college, where he pulled his ball sack out the front of his zipper and said, "Oh, I think I'm fat from gum." And I think this was inside the brain of one of his buddies, who then had a dream, and we're calling it the Friar Tuck dream. Explain.
Correct. The Friar Tuck dream is where I then pulled my penis out, and where my penis head met my shaft, there was a ring of hair around it.
Yeah.
And made a young lady look down at it, and I said, "Bitch, you just got Friar Tucked." And then hilarity ensued.
Absolutely.
Call McCool writes, "Bah ha ha, that's great. The best part is you could have told me that happened back in college, and I would have 100% believed you." Now I know Call McCool. I've partied with him in college, since college, and that's a bit of a compliment, but I am curious as to what he thinks would have, what did I have some sort of odd 182 pay that went around my penis?
I thought about this. I could see you finding or being given like a fake eyelash.
Okay.
And just like kind of like gluing that to like that exact region of your penis.
Yeah.
And just be like, man, you just got prior tugged. I could 100%. 1,000%. After just even talking about it, I was like, I bet if Wes found a fake eyelash, the first place he would think to put it would be around the ridge of his penis.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm a bit. I just regretful that this didn't happen. I'm glad that I didn't get to pull this off. The gum trick seems like it would have been secondary. The girls would have been like, the gum trick. Pfft, that's so yesterday. Well,
unfortunately, having very intimate conversations with you and your brother, I don't know if that would have worked out for you.
We'll leave it at that. We are off next week. 4th of July, folks, enjoy yourselves. I was going to say, don't mix the booze and the fireworks, but God damn it, America. What did we say earlier? You can die. You can die at your own will.
Hey, but you're free to die whatever way you please. And if
That's
you're
right.
going to die, go out the way you choose. Okay?
That's right.
If you drink a fifth of fucking whiskey and you want to light something on fire and it happens to kill you, that's the most American way to go out if I ever heard one.
Yeah. Stuff a Molotov cocktail. And I feel like that would have been a good one if people learning stuff at a later age. I thought of Molotov, stuff that up your rear end and be like, hey, everyone, 3, 2. Man, Jim was a good guy. He always was a good practical joker. And he went out the way he wanted to go out.
When he told me to light that toilet paper hanging out the back of his pants, I just thought, this is going to be a fun one. What's so fun?
All right. Happy Independence Day. We'll catch you all, I guess, sometime in mid-July. We're going to have Sam from the Drunkard United football show on in the very near future. We're also going to have Adam join for Asking for a Friend. And we got 2 good, bad movie reviews coming up. Lots to talk about here in the craps of summer. So anyway, had a good time. And just get silly, get funky, and take your kids to a fireworks show and tell them good men. I don't know. Don't tell your kids anything I say. That was good.
Tell them good men died for those sparks in the sky. All right.
There you go. Oh yeah. Don't forget the Korean War. Bye.